Julia Roknifard is a senior lecturer at Taylor's University School of Law and Governance. She joins us now from Kuala Lumpur. Really good to have you back with us, Julia. How significant is Mojtaba Khamenei's appointment as Iran's new supreme leader, and what does his leadership mean for the balance of power between hardliners and reformists in Iran?
It was pretty much expected that Mojtaba Khamenei is going to become a successor to his father, Ali Khamenei, after his assassination. The talk about the successor has been in the discourse of Iran watchers and within Iran itself. So there were possible candidates for the position, but at the same time, it was quite a murky topic. So we didn't know for sure. We never did. But Mojtaba Khamenei appeared as most likely successor after the supreme leader Ali Khamenei was assassinated on 28th of February. And now, indeed, he was confirmed. There were rumors before, now he was confirmed for sure. The transition is going to be significant in the sense that he already has been known as a more radical character than his father. And that is going to be enhanced by the fact that his father was assassinated along with other members of the family, including Mojtaba's wife and son. So we can speculate a lot about how it happened that he wasn't there as a part of that congregation where his wife was. But I think what it's going to do in his orientation to future policies of Iran, it's going to make Iran's policy angrier and less reconcilable, less prone to diplomacy. And if any diplomatic maneuvers are going to be done, they're going to be done in secret, probably not publicly, and definitely not at this stage. So we're dealing with a more radical character than before, with very good direct ties with the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps.
And given Mojtaba Khamenei's influence over Iran's security forces, how might this affect Iran's military strategy going forward? Are we likely to see its retaliatory attacks increase in the region?
It's what we can say for sure that it's going to continue, at least for some time. That's Iran's strategy. Iran is not going to budge or enter any diplomatic process at this point in the absence of trust, which was undermined not once by the United States, where in the process of diplomatic negotiations, Iran was attacked, starting in June last year and then now. We can say that there is not going to be a change in the strategy that Iran chose and promised to execute, despite the loss of some of the supreme command, both in the military and in the civilian sector. So the attacks at the neighboring states might continue, and we've already seen that, indeed, as your correspondent just said, we might throw out of the window what President Pezeshkian said, together with his apologies, that we're not going to attack the neighboring countries. It probably will continue with a war of attrition, basically.
US President Donald Trump had previously said Washington should have a say in Iran's leadership. How is the US likely to respond to the new supreme leader?
President Trump already responded, saying that he is unhappy with the figure of Mojtaba Khamenei because, well, it's going to be pretty much a continuation of the policies of his father and probably even an enhanced, more extreme version of it, again, in the light of not just the character of Mojtaba Khamenei himself that we know of because he was a pretty secretive figure, but in the light of what just happened, the attack on Iran, the attack on his family being assassinated. That's one. But on the other hand, for President Trump, with his more utilitarian approach to the events on the ground, if, let's say, we imagine Mojtaba Khamenei decides to engage with the United States, very unlikely, but if he pursues a policy, if he turns around towards the policy of engaging with the United States, I don't think President Trump will care of what character is in front of him, as long as he can deal with this person, either mullah, so to say, or not. So, but that's a very unlikely scenario. So probably, and that's a more likely scenario, Mojtaba Khamenei is going to have a target on his back, and there should be strong security precautions taken for his safety.
One of the issues that US political leaders have been quite sensitive to are oil prices, and we're seeing oil prices surge past $100 a barrel in the wake of this escalating conflict. What impact might they have on Trump's thinking with regards to US actions in this war?
The considerations for President Trump are probably not economic, but until the degree that there is no strong resistance by his own electorate, and we can see that the war powers resolution did not pass in the Congress this time, but that might change if the Republicans are experiencing pressure on the part of their own constituencies. For Donald Trump, the considerations are more security motivated and premised on how he sees the region and of the Middle East. And now there are also speculations that it is a kind of a broad step taken against China, in particular blocking the Strait of Hormuz and the oil and gas that pass through it. So we might see the changes, and we might see another chance for the war powers resolution if things on the ground change. And we've already seen, by the way, from the opinion polls in the United States, that more people do not support this war rather than support. And that might be tilting even further in favor of those who are against this war. So that might change considerations.
Looking ahead, what challenges might Mojtaba Khamenei face domestically, especially in terms of public dissent or political opposition?
It might return with the same force as it was, as we've seen, as we saw in December and last year and January this year. However, now that it has been suppressed and we are dealing with a more radical politician in charge with strong ties with the IRGC, practically directly in touch, so we might expect further suppression of the protests over economic issues and political likewise. So for a while, if situation stabilizes post-war, there might be no protest, and if they occur, there will be another period of suppression. That's the likely scenario. But then, if again economic issues are not settled, then the Iranian state, the institutions, including the supreme leader Mojtaba Khamenei, will have to deal with another wave of pretty much desperate people.
With reports of more than 1,000 Iranian civilians killed in this conflict so far, how might the new supreme leader, or indeed the government there, deal with this growing humanitarian toll there?
I think they are. Oh, you mean those killed in the course of the US operation, or those in the protest?
Oh,
That
yes,
preceded it?
in the US and Israeli operations.
Oh, yes. Well, they will probably try to amplify the number of victims, to zoom in on this, to present it. And of course, the most notorious cases like the school, the girls' school in the city, in the town of Minab. So I think here we are likely to see the real figures and cases, names of the victims, in order to, again, rally people around the flag and garner their support and prove that the US decision to attack Iran together with Israel was wrong legally, strategically, politically, and in all possible regards.
Now, with tensions escalating in the region, do you see any realistic diplomatic off-ramps now that Mojtaba Khamenei has been appointed? Or given the fact, as you say, he could be more hardline, is that unlikely at this stage?
Maybe there will be some sort of engagement with the regional powers after a while. The attacks, I would expect, continue for some time, not to show weakness, especially that he just took over, so he needs to show that. But also there could be a possibility of reaching out to Russia, which has been done already by the Gulf monarchies in particular in order to mediate in this. Although for as far as Iran is concerned, there is always a worry that Russia will try to use Iran as a bargaining chip with regards to its own conflict in Ukraine. I wouldn't exclude the possibility of China attempting to mediate at this as well as a more neutral party to this.
And you mentioned the attack on the school in Minab at the very start of this
Yes.
conflict. Some have described that as a possible war crime. Are we likely to see any justice for those victims who were killed in that attack?
Well, I think Iran and probably its supporters are going to file a complaint, maybe to the ICC or ICJ about this, since it's a crime of aggression and crime against humanity. So it can be tried based on the Geneva Conventions. But what kind of a follow-up is going to be there is hard to say, because it will also take years. And we're seeing it in the case of Palestine, with just one preliminary decision trying to force Israel to withdraw, but not much. It doesn't have much realization in practice. So that application might be lodged to ICJ in particular, but how much of a follow-up will be there, it's hard to tell. Probably it will be largely symbolic.
Okay, Julia Roknifard, always good to get your analysis. Thanks again for joining us.
Thank you.